welcome back to another exciting episode. I'm your host, James. Alongside me, as always, is...
My name's Andy.
And we welcome you to join us on this legendary journey as we become legend of the nerds. Andy, it's been a while. It's been about, 5 episodes since we touched up this topic?
Yep.
It's time to get back to it. What is on the topic today?
We've got wrestling. The whole episode's about wrestling again.
All right.
I mean, the biggest thing that just happened, we watched the Elimination Chamber, not on pay-per-view, but on the WWE Network for the first time. It's a big thing. Are they making the pay-per-views maybe now on the network and getting rid of the $59.99 pay-per-views, or maybe just fans wanted to see the Chamber again? Wrote in WWE saying, we want the Chamber. Who knows? Maybe in a little bit ahead in the future, maybe we'll know more. But the Chamber was last night. Wasn't that bad compared to the other pay-per-views we watched, so let's go ahead and catch up on it.
So are you thinking that WWE got rid of the Chamber because they don't want to run it anymore? Or do you think they're getting rid of it because they want to put it just on the network?
I think they got rid of the Chamber pay-per-view because, for one, it's probably wicked costly for that. I mean, the Chamber's bigger than a Hell in a Cell, for instance.
It's already built, though.
But I could see them maybe not wanting it all the time like they were in the past, probably because it is pretty dangerous, and it's one of those matches where, okay, let's get rid of it and see what happens, I think. Maybe invent something different. But I think a lot of fans really enjoy that match because we only get to see it once or twice a year. And at least on the Chamber pay-per-view, we got to at least see 2 Chamber matches instead of the normal one, which was a plus, I thought. So,
yeah, the Chamber is a cool match. It's very, very exciting to watch. I think in a corporate mind, it's all about one thing, that's the money. Is it costing WWE more money to run on a pay-per-view and not reaching that ratings number? Or is it better business to run it on the network to try and get more subscribers to sign up?
Well, that's the whole big thing WWE has been saying is they want to hit millions and millions of subscribers. I mean, now you can subscribe anywhere around the world, basically. So why not give it a test drive and put it on the network and see how many people sign up for the network?
It's the only way to do it, I guess.
Yeah,
it's trial and error right now.
They're also doing where every month, now it seems like every month you can get it for free if you're a new subscriber too. So I mean,
which is the basic law of the internet. Anything you want to sign up for that's a monthly subscription, usually they sign up first month is always free.
But I mean, I didn't have any complaints whether or not it was on pay-per-view or the network because, I mean,
we have
the network anyway, so I get to watch it all the time. But
how much does it cost?
Costs only $9.99.
$9.99.
$9.99. I still see banners in the audience for
all
that.
The time,
it's always fun to pull that little promo. But I mean, I've told you in the past, I kind of see it happening where all the pay-per-views someday will be on the network and maybe even Raw and SmackDown.
I hope not, because I enjoy watching Raw and SmackDown on TV. Have it DVR'd. It's just more enjoyable, and I don't really like watching everything streaming online. It's just sometimes a pain in the butt because then you have buffering all the time.
Yeah.
You have too many people trying to watch it, and it's just going to disrupt the whole service.
This is true.
That's one thing WWE needs to watch out for and be careful with.
Yeah. I do think, though, what they need to do is, because I told you how that you can watch SmackDown Raws, but they're like 4 weeks in the past. They definitely need to catch up. Once it airs on TV, I think it needs to go right to the network so people can maybe catch up,
right.
too.
Normally, a little off topic here, but normally, I don't have the CW network at home. So when Arrow or Flash plays, I can just go right to the app or the website and watch it the next day, the next episode.
Which
I think WWE needs to do that as well.
Yeah, it's a great incentive. So
I mean, being 4 months behind is just kind of lame right now.
Yep.
It's behind the times. They need to catch up. That Raw needs to be played next day.
The next day or even 2 days. Even a couple days later, it doesn't bother me, but it needs to be played not 4 weeks later on the network.
But I mean, if they want to do that, have every Raw episode on the network up to like a month, Yep. There's no problem doing that. But anyways, today is Elimination Chamber.
My favorite.
Loved it. It was a good show. So it's off the first match.
Okay.
Now, the first one is the first ever Tag Team Championship taking place inside the chamber.
First time
That
ever.
was amazing. I enjoyed all of it. I like tag team wrestling anyway, so this was more of an initiative for me to enjoy the show even more. Do you remember who the participants were?
We had Cesaro and Kid.
Cesaro and Kid.
We had the Matadors.
The Matadors.
We had New Day.
New Day.
We had
Primetime players.
Primetime players.
Primetime players in
Lucha
there.
Dragons and
Lucha Dragons
Ascension.
and the Ascension.
Yep. It was started off with the Ascension and Lucha Dragons, I believe, were the first two that started.
Yes, sir. You got that right. Yep.
Enjoyed the match. Was wicked excited because it was the very first time. I mean, normally you just have one person in each of those pods, and now you're stuffing two guys in there. And just imagine if all 6 teams were all out at once. I mean, that would have been just chaos. I would have hated to have been that ref.
Here's the incentive about this match show before we start. Kane announced before the show that New Day was out of all 3 guys in the match.
Because he helped out the Authority a couple nights before on SmackDown.
Yes.
And he also let, El Torito in that match.
No, El Torito put himself in that match.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Because they came in, and you just see him going on top of the cell.
Nice.
He just sat up there for the whole match.
Yep.
Until they
got released from their pods.
Yeah. Then he got released.
Yeah. Like I said, I loved it. In the beginning, it was kind of slow, I thought. I thought it picked up a lot more once about half the teams that were teams.
You gotta keep in mind that
Average
there was
teams got
only
eliminated.
2 guys that's ever been in the cell before in that match.
Yep.
Kofi was in.
Kofi's been in there, and
Cesaro's been in there.
Yep, Cesaro's been in
So
there.
those are the only 2 guys that actually know what to expect
Exactly.
inside the cell.
So, I mean, your first time in there, it is very intimidating. I mean, I can imagine being a fan sitting in the front row, and I mean, the chamber is literally only like 2 feet away from the audience because it's so big.
Right.
So, I mean, it's very intimidating, but once half those teams, though, I thought got eliminated, it did pick up. I wanted the Lucha Dragons to win, but they really didn't show me what I wanted to see, like one of them hanging off the top of the cell and dropping
You
down.
talk about these guys all the time, and I was expecting a lot more from these guys. They were the only ones that actually did something with the chamber. They, one of the guys crawled up to the very top, and that was the spot. That was his WrestleMania moment to make their team go big.
Yeah.
And I felt that he just kind of bailed on the spot.
Yeah. Even when he was on top of like one of the pods, even though he kept getting pulled down by like New Day and stuff, a lot of times he got free and he'd just stand there.
Yeah.
And it could have been the nerves. I mean, you're in that.
The nerves, I mean that was a huge match for them.
Exactly. But like you said, if you're going to go up there, do something.
Yeah.
So
Even Cesaro sold it so well down below.
Yep.
Like, what's going on? Looking up, and that's when he should have fell, and he just kind of swung there.
my favorite though was, I'm not a big primetime player fan, but when they got loose, they went to town.
Crazy.
Titus O'Neil, ever since he got back with what's his name, his tag partner,
His tag partner, yeah.
Darren Young.
Yep, Darren Young. Yep.
Ever since he got back with Darren Young, he's impressed me more. I mean, he's taking guys and throwing them into the chains and everything, and through pods and everything. I mean, I was impressed a bit, and that's the thing. He, like you said, he's a big guy,
And that's what big guys
and
should
big
do.
guys need to throw their weight around.
Titus, when he was last year, he just was terrible. He's a big dude. He should be acting like a big dude.
And he did that.
And he did nothing before. Now, he's throwing his weight around like he should be. He's actually looking like a professional wrestler in my eyes.
Yep.
And I hope that team goes far.
But unfortunately, they were in the finals against New Day in there, and New Day just had the numbers 3-on-2, took out Darren, and then
Eventually, the numbers game did catch up.
took
with
out
everybody.
Titus and won the whole match. Unfortunately,
Yep.
I mean, I'm a Kofi fan, but I didn't. The whole New Day thing is starting to get old with me. So
He's getting old. Yep.
Yeah.
The New Day they came in as one faction, and now they turn it around to a different faction.
Yep.
That's all it is now. It's just something different, and I don't like it.
Yep.
I really don't like it. But New Day won that match. Match 2. It is the Divas Championship match.
Our bathroom break.
Yeah, pretty much. Nikki Bella, Paige, Naomi.
Yep. I really didn't watch much of it. That's the problem. And I enjoy Divas. We joke about it, but I sometimes enjoy watching Divas matches. And I was expecting with 3 of the top Divas that actually know what they're doing.
Right.
They messed up on a lot of their moves.
I'm going to touch up on the Divas later on in the show, But for this match, I actually did pay attention to it, and I was not really impressed all that much.
Nope.
There was a lot of mistakes going on, and honestly, Nikki should have known better. She made a majority of the mistakes in this entire match. She, for me, was a veteran in this match.
Oh, yeah.
She's been there the longest. Paige Naomi should have, rise up a little more than what they did. But it just seems like a bunch of amateur people in that match.
Exactly. I was expecting Naomi to, not even Naomi, Paige. I mean, Naomi took you out a couple months ago, and you lost your number one contender spot.
Mm-hmm.
She should have gone into that match with massive rage and just went after her, but nope.
Yeah. That's what Divas, they're not aggressive. They're not aggressive at all.
And the thing is, with this match, they were given a decent amount of time for this match, though.
You're getting a long amount of time. Most Diva matches don't last that long.
Exactly. This was at
They
least a
gave
good 5 minutes or so.
Amount of time.
Yeah. So, I mean, and like you said, they weren't pulling off their moves the right way.
And honestly, when they did the tower suplex with all three of them, it was a big flop.
Mm-hmm.
They should have done. If Nikki can't hold the weight, don't do the match.
Yep.
Someone could have seriously gotten hugely hurt in that
yes.
one thing.
Yep.
Just hugely hurt. And it is what it is. Nikki Bella came out, the champ,
Yep.
again, so she retained. Whatever.
And every time I keep picking her to lose.
Yeah.
Every time I do, she pulls out a victory. So.
Maybe next time you should root for her to win.
There we go.
See what happens. But now we have halfway point, match number 3. This is the one that I was actually kind of looking forward to. I really was, because I'm not a big NXT fan.
Yep.
Not really seen much of it. I have been watching more, been doing my work, got a lot of homework to do, watching it. We will talk about Kevin Owens and John Cena.
NXT champ versus the U.S. champ. I talk about, to you personally, NXT, and this match right here is the first time. I mean, granted, Cena has given a couple NXT stars, like Sami Zayn, for instance, his U.S. title shots, but those have been on Raw kind of thing. This was a big stage kind of special event, and you got the NXT champion, the number one guy in NXT, going against Cena, one of the number one guys in the business. And my thought was, I don't want to see, though, Kevin Owens. A Kevin Owens that I've seen in NXT where he just does certain moves and it's like, okay, yeah, the match is done. No, he pulled out the stops. He pulled out moves for a big guy that I'm surprised he can do, but he's very agile for a big guy.
Here's what I've been noticing about wrestling. The face of it is changing, and it's changing for the best, I think. We're getting rid of those 7 feet tall, beefy guys.
Yep.
Getting rid of them. We're going more of an average Joe.
Exactly.
And Kevin really, really impressed me. He did moves I didn't think a big dude like that
he did like moonsaults and
he's doing everything. He did like a swanton bomb off the top rope, which is awesome. You don't see that in big guys like that very often.
Yeah. That's the thing with NXT is that we're, like you said, they're going more towards the normal size guy. Mm-hmm. There's a couple big guys there, but the future is bright for the normal size guy instead of getting away from the macho people.
It is.
But
now this match, it dragged on for me though.
It did. There was a lot of kickouts.
There was too many kickouts, not enough reversals, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
There should have been more reversals than there was kickouts.
Yeah.
I understand that John Cena is like one of the strongest guys in the company. Kevin Owens is trying to prove himself being one of the strongest guys in the company. We get it, but there's only so much beating that someone can take before it gets kind of unrealistic.
Well, it's like you said when we watched the show. This was more of a match to show Kevin Owens off. Because in the majority of the match, it was Kevin Owens beating up on Cena, and then you get the typical Cena getting up and going to town on him and stuff.
Right.
But I do agree with him it being a show-off, but I'm glad they showed him off because that's what I've been wanting to see. Because in NXT, with how I said there's a lot of small guys, you got Kevin who can't do all the things he wants to do because halfway through the match, the small guy's done going up against the big guy. Now it's two guys about the same size going at it. You get to see what each one of them's made out of.
But do you think there's been more of a beneficial match to show off Kevin Owens if it was somebody else in the match instead of John Cena taking yet another loss that he should not be taking? I mean, if we wanted to push wrestlers like, one of my favorite guys, Zack Ryder, this would have been a perfect match to push Zack Ryder into the right direction he should be going.
Well, the problem is if you do someone lower name, you expect Kevin Owens to beat the crap out of him. Nobody expected Cena to lose that
And
match.
that's why it would be a double push. You're pushing Kevin Owens being a great guy, but you're also pushing another wrestler who deserves a shot in the company.
I think they wanted to use Cena, though, because look at what we got now. 3 weeks from tonight, we've got now Money in the Bank.
With another rematch.
With a rematch of Cena and Owens. And I think that's probably their plan is they know people are going to watch the show because it's Cena and Owens.
But couldn't we have this match be Owens versus Triple H, and then Owens moves on to another bigger face?
Well, remember, though,
instead of doing a double face.
Who's the easiest person to kind of humiliate or pick on in WWE for everything? That's Cena. Cena's the baby face. Look at what all Owens has done is he's come out on NXT wearing the Cena I'm the Champ shirt.
Right.
He keeps holding the belt up saying the champ's here and ripping on all of Cena's merchandise, which is everything The Rock did when we did Rock Cena.
But it's weakening Cena's character, though. Is the idea of WWE to get rid of Cena as the face of the company?
I think it's already happened. I really don't see Cena being there more than 5 years, which hurts me because Cena's my favorite superstar, not of all time, but he's probably number 2 of all time. And I do see Cena eventually saying bye to everything. He's had way too many injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you even hate the point that he's U.S. champion. I don't. I like him being U.S. champion because you hate it because it's a demotion. But look how
he's been champion so long, and he's so close to being the Triple H.
He's got 1 more to tie Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And 2 to beat Flair for all-time titles.
Yeah. So he's so close that it's I felt the whole build-up through all these years was Cena to get to the higher level than Flair. Mm-hmm. And it's they kind of capped it off.
Yeah, because if you look at what's going on with Cena right now, he's been downward in everything.
Downward fall. I mean, he's going to be the next Zack Ryder down there.
But the problem is we've got all these new guys coming into the business that are top-notch. Look at all 3 members of the Shield, for instance, Rollins, Reigns, and Ambrose, now all going separate ways.
Yeah.
You got all of them, and you've got a batch of great NXT guys who want to come up here pretty soon. So that's the problem.
It should be, whatever. Well, in that match, Kevin Owens won.
Yep. Cena will win in the rematch.
You think Cena will win? All right, we'll find out.
It's going to go to 3. That's the thing.
So match 4. Another didn't really care about this match at all. It was Bo Dallas versus Neville.
Yeah, it was just basically
a filler.
It's a filler. I mean, a couple weeks leading up to it, they've gone ahead and tried to redo the rivalry from NXT. So that's what it is. But it's still pushing Neville a little bit because Bo Dallas has been on a decline since he came over, but it's a little small push for Neville. They're kind of easing Neville in a little bit.
They should ease him a little more because Bo Dallas' character is terrible.
But I want to know though, how did you feel about watching Neville for the first time?
I would like to see Neville go against more of a high flyer.
Yep,
like Bo Dallas.
Exactly.
I don't think he expressed his talent on a stage like that the way they should have.
And that's been his problem is a lot of his matches on Raws and SmackDown have actually been against big guys like Sheamus and Barrett so far.
He should be going more of high-flying people.
But I'm impressed with his finishing move, which is the Red Arrow, that little corkscrew.
Yeah.
Corkscrew, not moonsault, but shooting star press. It was pretty impressive, and you liked it when he kept doing the backflips from one corner to another.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
I like seeing guys agile like that. It's great to see.
But it was one of those filler matches. Neville pulled out the victory, so
he did.
So good for him.
So then we have match 6, which was the second of the 2 chamber matches
for the vacant
IC
title.
Yep. We had Ryback against R-Truth, Sheamus. Mark Henry was the extra one.
Yeah, replaced Rusev because he fractured his foot.
Then you have Wade Barrett and my boy Dolph Ziggler.
Yep. Yeah, but unfortunately, Dolph, though, had to start that match.
Oh, whew. It was Ziggler and Barrett started the matchup.
Yep. It started off very weak. It was basically just holds. They were kind of countering each other's holds here and there. Then once the pod started to open, I think it was who did he let in? The second.
No, remember, this is the one where Henry's Henry's
His paw,
paw got broke.
yeah, but before that, somebody else came in, I think. But you are right. Barrett throws, I think it's Ziggler through the pod.
Yep.
But he's antagonizing Mark Henry throughout the entire match.
Yeah.
And Mark like steps on out, and the ref's like, "Whoa, you can't do that." And then they're telling him, "No, you can. There's no rules in an elimination chamber."
Pod got broke. He
Exactly.
got out.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault the pod broke. And worst thing Barrett could do, because Mark went right after him. Once I think Ryback came in too, it was basically let's all attack Barrett, because everyone is sick and tired of hearing Barrett go ahead and call himself king, because
King Barrett.
Yeah, because he won the King of the Ring. So I mean, I'm glad they got rid of him first.
Right.
The funniest thing in this though
Oh, please bring this up.
was Sheamus.
This was amazing.
How they couldn't open up his pod, and Sheamus is complaining, "Let me out, let me out."
Why this is amazing? Because the way he sold it.
Yep.
He sold it. He wanted out so
Exactly.
bad.
He's shaking the pod and everything. He's standing there with his hands on his head. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
But why do you want to get out of the pod and go face 5 other guys? The smartest thing to do is stay in the pod.
It would be smart, yeah.
But why don't you explain to the audience what
So
exactly?
apparently what happened was he took his cross from his neck and he stuck it, wedged it between the door and the frame, which would prevent the cage from opening up.
Little
which
sleight
was
of hands.
amazing. I didn't see this coming at all.
Did the little sleight of hand trick there. It was
So it was
so
great.
hilarious. But
Pulls it out, smiles. Then he goes and
the funny thing is, then he wants to get back in and he can't because it's stuck. I'm like, oh. But yeah, so it ends up being at the end, Ryback and Sheamus. They were the final two going at it.
and at this point in time, I didn't matter to me which one won.
Yeah.
I liked them both.
Neither one's been IC champ. I mean, you wanted your boy Ziggler to win.
I did.
I picked Ryback to win the whole thing at the end. It'd be his first title in WWE, and he pulled it right on out.
He pulled that for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, and
He knew.
Yeah. My one of my things I liked was Daniel Bryan having to give up the title because of injury. He was there that night watching the whole match, and when they lifted up the chamber, he kind of did his little presentation to Ryback for it, which was a sign of respect.
So respectful.
Because they've come up together since being signed to WWE. They were in NXT together at the same time, and they basically hit Raw at the same time.
Yeah.
So they're like brothers. So it was a nice little gesture, I thought. So
It was a good match.
I'm happy. It's about time Ryback has won a title.
Right, yeah.
He's been with WWE for a while now, and for him not winning a title yet, I thought has been...
They did so many different things with Ryback, you know? When he first came in, he had these, like, squash matches after squash matches. So annoying. Then he had the tag team up with...
Before that was he went after CM Punk, remember, for the world titles a couple times, and Punk kept screwing him over.
Yep, that's
'Cause
right.
that's when Punk had his like year-long reign with Paul Heyman.
And Punk was a heel back then, so it'd make Ryback the face.
He did like half face and then half heel in that. But yeah, because that was when Brad Maddox was a ref.
Oh, right, yes.
And he kept screwing over Ryback, like especially in the Hell in the Cell match. I mean, those matches, I really thought Ryback was going to become world champion. Everybody did.
He had a great push then. Cena pushed him back then, too.
Yep.
Then I think he fell down when he tag teamed.
Yeah, well, that's when he turned heel, and he was a horrible heel.
Yeah, it's terrible back then.
His whole gimmick with the "Feed Me More" with the fans is amazing because the fans get into it, and that's the problem. If you have a wrestler that can get the fans that excited, you shouldn't turn them heel.
Nope.
So I'm happy he won. It's about time.
Ryback did win that. So now we have the main event: Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose for the heavyweight title.
And my gut was telling me Ambrose is gonna do it. He's winning this match. Seth's time as champion is done.
And what happened?
He did win the match.
Dean won.
He did.
Kind of.
But now, so I mean, the ref gets knocked out because Seth pulls him in front of Dean.
Yep.
And then Dean hits Seth with dirty deeds, and everyone's counting 1, 2, 3. Finally, a ref comes out, and what do you know? Gets the 1, 2, 3. Usually, the ref comes out and somebody will kick out, kind of thing.
Of course.
But no, he gets the 1, 2, 3. What happens? The old ref. Oh, I'm awake now, and I'm DQing Seth.
So
that's
dumb.
a crock because you don't do that. That's never happened. It always
You know what
goes.
happened? He was paid off.
Could be.
That's the storyline, man.
It could. We'll
the first time.
find out on Raw and stuff, but because it's always goes to the first decision. Whatever whatever ref shows up, the first decision that happens, that's the outcome.
Unless that was a senior ref that got knocked out. I don't think he's a senior ref anymore, though.
It's still a crock, but the funny thing that happened, they're trying to beat up on Ambrose. His boy Roman Reigns comes out, helps him out.
Huge way.
Oh, huge way. What was it? Seth starts running up the ramp and turns around, and all of a sudden on the side of the screen just
huge
gets
Samoan fist.
Huge Superman punch, knocks out Seth. Then he comes in, spears Kane like right in half, and then double Superman punches both J and J.
Yeah.
And what happens? They run off with the title. Go ahead. The beers are on Dean that night, like you said.
Right.
And they just hijacked that title. And rightfully, he deserves that title.
He does. He worked hard. It was a good match.
And who doesn't want to see Dean as the world champion? That is going to be the greatest.
A game changer right there.
So, the match was okay for me. Started off very slow.
As they all did throughout the night.
I expected more, especially with the build-up for this match, how it happened. But, all in all, the whole pay-per-view to me...
Throughout the chamber, man,
okay.
I expected more hard-hitting in the chambers itself. There wasn't too much going on there. They didn't use the chamber as much as they should have.
They saved it more for the second chamber match, where actually a pod did get broke.
They should have done more, though.
And
should have done more.
I mean, Titus throwing people into the chain, but they did shove Titus's head through the chains, though, which I thought was great because it was the New Day doing it, and Kofi in the New Day got his head stuck through the chain. So Kofi's now being the person to shove someone else's head through it. So all in all, I give it a 6 out of 10.
It was a good pay-per-view. If you guys have not watched it and you guys like what you heard here, go back to the network and watch it because the network's only $9.99. With that, we have the favorite time of the show. It's halfway. It's time for our top 5 of the week.
Yep.
Our top this week is the biggest brand jumps. Remember this about one wrestler saying, I don't like this promotion. I'm going to jump to the next promotion. Yep. Andy, what's on your top 5 today?
My top 5, I mean, I got a couple from the Monday Night Wars back in WWE, WCW. Number 5 is a female, Alundra Blaze. She wins the WWE title.
This is a good one. This is a
she
good one.
She wins the WWE Women's title one night. The next night, she is on WCW, and she's throwing the Women's title from WWE into the trash. Now, if you ever watch the Monday Night Wars on the network, Eric Bischoff talks about...
Or live.
Yeah. Eric Bischoff talks about this moment because the thing with WWE is they were in negotiations with Alundra Blaze for a new contract.
Right.
But they never signed anything. So Eric knows this, calls her up that night and says, don't sign anything. I want you any offers or a contract kind of thing. She shows up the next day because officially she is a free agent and bam, just like that, jumps brands. And I feel like it's you'll always remember this because she disgraced WWE by throwing that title in the trash.
Yeah, and here's why it could happen, because nowadays you have the 90-day grace period where if a wrestler is done one promotion, he cannot be on another promotion or TV for another promotion for 90 days.
Exactly.
Back then, they didn't have that.
Nope. The next day, you literally are on the other show.
Yep.
But my number 4 is one of your all-time favorite wrestlers.
Okay.
Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho.
He left WCW, who branded the Cruiserweight division, and went to WWE for bigger things. Because he knew in WCW, Eric wasn't going to do anything with him. He wanted to be a world champion.
Chris Jericho was amazing back in WCW. He really was. I enjoyed every single match he was in. I mean, he even had that huge bodyguard back then, which was really funny to have. He did do a lot with the lightweight Cruiserweight champion back then.
Exactly. And I mean, you'll notice some of mine, they're like, when they jump brand, you want your first day on the next show to be memorable. You got to remember. And Jericho's was, because for months it set up with that timer countdown to the millennium kind of thing. And people knew it was Jericho just because of that. But it was still big. And on his first night, he gets to hit a promo with The Rock.
Yep, interrupts The Rock. Right?
So, I mean, a great thing. My number 3 is happening right now. It is Samoa Joe. how big you have literally now taken probably the #1 star in TNA and have him come to your brand and not even start in WWE. He's accepted that he'll go in NXT and wrestle down there for a while. I mean, Samoa Joe to me is one of the biggest wrestlers right now in the world. So to catch him is still in his prime is a great thing. My #2 started the Monday Night War, I believe, which was Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
Okay.
It was great how they played it because nobody knew that they were in WCW yet. Every fan out there still thought they were in WWE, and they wanted to see them invade WCW kind of thing.
Right.
So I thought it was a great way to start their career in WCW. And look, it turned into the NWO, which was a great thing in the beginning, obviously, not at the end. But I thought they had a great push in the beginning of a long run of the Monday Night War.
Guys were amazing.
My #1, I thought it has to be the biggest ever jump because fans were so excited when this happened because nobody knew where he was, and then he all of a sudden came out of nowhere. It's Kurt Angle going from WWE to TNA. Okay. When he showed up, his music hits, and he just comes right up from the ring. Smoke, and it breaks, and it's Kurt. And I remember that very first night that he came over, that roof in the Impact Zone literally blew off the building. Because this is when Kurt is literally, like right now, Kurt, he's kind of done, I think. He's had too many knee injuries. He's on his last boat. But this was like a good almost 10 years ago. And he's still in his prime when we saw the great Kurt Angle.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, wow. What a night that was. Comes out, and he just headbutts one of my other top 5, Samoa Joe. What a great rivalry to start off your new career with Samoa Joe. And this was a young Samoa Joe when he was
ready to go.
So, to me, that's my top 5. I'm sticking with it. So let's hear yours.
All right. We had 2 of the same.
Okay.
We had 2 of the same. But my top 5 is not necessarily the biggest jumps, but for me, as a personal wrestler, it is a good jump for them to make. My #5 was Ken Anderson, going from WWE to TNA.
Changes his name and everything. He went from Kennedy to Anderson.
Yeah. I thought it was good because, in WWE, they weren't doing much with him, and a lot of other wrestlers complained about his ability in the ring.
Yep.
I felt like he really, really trained hard, became such a better wrestler in TNA.
Massively.
And became a better, bigger star over there. I hope we see him again, too.
Yep.
#4, Kurt Angle turn.
Yep.
Over to TNA from WWE. It was huge. #3, after the Montreal screw job. I'm talking about Bret Hart from WWE going over to WCW.
Yep.
Remember that, Jordan?
I remember the screw job, and I remember him going over, but...
Yeah, he after that match, he went right over to WCW.
My problem is, it seemed like after the Montreal screw job, his career was almost over, I thought. It's a huge name. That's the thing, and that's what gets people excited to watch your brand is you want to hear about that huge name. I mean, obviously now we joke about him looking like Skeletor, but...
He does. He did terrible for himself. But, I mean, having WCW pick up a big name like Bret Hart, yay for them.
And it was easy, too.
Yeah, it was.
After the Montreal screw job.
Yep. #2, I have the Giant.
Oh, Big Show.
A.K.A. Big Show.
I remember.
Going from WCW to WWE.
I remember this because they show it on the network a lot. It was Austin and McMahon in a steel cage, and he just coming right up out of the ring. Austin wins the match, though, because Show throws him through the cage, and the cage door just goes whoop right on out.
That's right. But Big Show, he made a huge impact making that big change for him.
Yep, true.
#1 was the Jericho one.
Of course.
I had to put Jericho in there, He's the first one I thought of when he thought of the top list. When you approached me at the top 5 list, I think it's a great job. Jericho's on it right away.
Yep.
I remember that. We're watching it live on Raw. So there we have our top 5.
Yep.
Well, let's put all to one list, huh?
Let's do
10.
it.
to 5.
Let's do it. I had Alundra Blaze. You had Anderson. Thing with me is with Alundra Blaze, she was great in WWE. Problem is, she went to WCW, and no one really ever heard of her again.
She didn't do much, but the impact of her throwing that away makes her to be on this list.
You think?
Yeah.
Because right now, after you said Anderson, I was kind of leaning more towards him just because the jump helped him.
It helped him in such a big way.
He became such a better wrestler. With Alundra, she changes her name, her gimmick, and she's horrible. But the whole jump, what happened, like you just said, what she did is what you're going to remember more than anything.
Yeah.
So
it was one of the biggest jumps.
So
I think Blaze should be number 5.
Blaze.
Yeah, Blaze should be number 5. Do I think Anderson deserves on this list? Yes, I do. Maybe 4.
Well, let's see. I had Jericho at 4.
I had Jericho at 1.
And you had Kurt at 4. I don't think Kurt should be at a 4. I think he should be on the list, but closer. And I think Jericho should be on the list.
Yeah.
So I would put Anderson at 4.
Anderson at 4. Mr. Anderson at 4.
And I mean, he's done a lot in TNA. He's become a world champion over there.
Of course.
He helps out some of the new guys too right now, but his gimmicks are so good.
What was your number 2?
My number 2 was Hall and Nash.
Hall and Nash? It's tough. Show made a huge impact when he showed up. Jericho made a huge impact when he showed up. And Kurt Angle made a huge impact when he showed up.
So my thing with Joe, for my number 3, I have Samoa Joe.
Right.
The problem is right now, I put it there because we'll get to it later, what's happening in TNA.
Yes.
But I don't think it's very recent, so it's hard to put it on the top 5.
It's recent, and not a lot of people are going to remember it right now.
Exactly. So, I mean, we have Jericho, Show, Kurt, Scott, and Hall. So we have 4 guys, and we got to move that down to 3.
Right.
So one of them's not going to get on.
How do you do this? I mean, I'm thinking it should be Jericho 1, Kurt Angle 2, Big Show 3. The storyline between Scott Hall and Kevin Nash going over, that could take another episode to explain.
I mean, this is your expertise because remember, like I told you, I didn't get into wrestling probably after the Monday Night War. So I trust your judgment because I'm not sure how.
Not becoming a history show right now.
Yeah.
I think we should maybe touch that up on the next wrestling show.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I would put Big Show at 3.
Big Show at 3. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Big Show at 3.
I really think we're going to differ though. That right here, I feel like Kurt's number 1 and Jericho's 2. Jericho is great, but what happened after that promo?
The thing is that those two crossing over in the manner that they did made a huge statement, made a huge impact.
My feeling is when Kurt came over, that whole let me come over and I'm going to headbutt the biggest guy you got with that, and that was Joe.
Right.
With Jericho
came over. He physically, not physically, but mentally kind of headbutted one of the biggest guys in WWE.
Yeah, but Rock then came back and beat the crap out of him kind of on the mic. And then if you watch Jericho's movie and stuff, he talks about how for like months they didn't do anything with him. Yeah, that was the problem. At least when Kurt came over, he made an impact right off.
Yeah.
Instead of Jericho letting The Rock humiliate him a little bit.
So I think we should do Kurt Angle 1, Jericho 2.
That's how I really feel.
Cool. I cannot believe we actually put a diva on the top 5 here.
I know, but
I think it's amazing.
It's more of what happened more than it's the diva herself. Mm-hmm. And we got Kurt.
And Bret Hart should be on the list too, but I like the way the list is right now.
Yeah, I mean, if we did a top 10, more of these guys would probably have been on there. But
and that's the thing about this one list is that there are so many guys that made a huge impact by switching companies. One top the hand, Taz switching over.
Yep.
He made a huge impact to WWE when he switched over. Mm-hmm. The Dudley Boys switching. Not
massive.
Once, but twice.
Exactly.
They switched. They almost in all the promotions almost, They made huge impact when they kept switching over.
Yep.
Booker T is another guy. Huge impact.
He was actually on one of my original, when I had a bunch of people, he was on there.
Yeah. I mean, him switching from WCW, OWE, made a huge impact.
Christian Change, he went to TNA, became a great wrestler.
Yeah.
It's Christian Cage.
Christian Cage, that was a cool character too.
Lex Luger, remember
Lex from
WCW's very first episode in the mall. They hid him in a storage area because they didn't even want anybody in WCW to know.
No, at all. Yeah, it was a great thing to do for him.
But
that list goes on and on and on. How many guys switch from one promotion to the next promotion to make a huge impact?
Exactly.
Andy, why don't you go over that top 5 that we both came up with?
We got number 5, Alundra Blaze. Number 4, Ken Anderson. Number 3, the Giant Big Show, who can't remember him coming out of the ring. Chris Jericho, great on the mic, great on the mat, but unfortunately doesn't beat our number 1, Kurt Angle. Maybe the best ground wrestler ever.
Yeah, exactly. Kurt Angle deserves to be number 1. Top 5 is done, guys. Always check out our Facebook page where Andy will promote all the top 5s on that list so you guys can, leave comments, feedback, what you guys feel like your top 5 should be.
Exactly. We want to hear. Tell us how you think our top 5 was, and give us your top 5, because like James just said, there's been so many wrestlers out there that have jumped brands. Make your own. It's possible it'll be different than ours.
Exactly. Now, Andy, you touch it up on your top 5 quickly. I really want to get right into it right now, because Samoa Joe was my favorite wrestler in TNA, and now he's my favorite wrestler in NXT.
NXT. Joe, I mean, what can I say? For the last 10 years in TNA, has been one of the most dominant wrestlers of all time since TNA existed. I can remember him coming out with Christopher Daniels as his little sidekick, and then breaking out as an X Division star. Who sees a near 300-pound guy as an X Division guy?
What do you expect from a Samoan now?
Yeah, but he's wicked agile, everything.
So agile.
Problem is, TNA, the last couple of years, has done nothing with him.
Nope.
I mean, putting him in the Beatdown Clan, Joe is not one of those guys.
That was the worst move.
He's
not a faction guy.
He's not a guy to take orders from someone else, too, especially MVP.
No.
They cut ties. Him and Dixie cut ties. And what do you know? The second he cuts ties with TNA, that's all everyone's talking about. When's he coming to WWE? They wanted to debut him at WrestleMania, but unfortunately, contract negotiations couldn't happen. But what do you know?
But Joe, keep in mind though, Joe did pick up a few contracts with Ring of Honor for a while. Just so you know, he's not getting out of shape.
Exactly.
He's staying in shape. He's in Ring of Honor all until the contract has signed WWE.
I enjoyed, though, his debut in NXT. It's NXT Unstoppable. It's after the Kevin Owens-Sami Zayn world title match, and Kevin Owens is beating up on Sami Zayn.
Which happened to be my first NXT show I ever watched.
Yep. And what do you know? Joe's new music hits, and the fans know it right off. And everyone's cheering, fight, Owens, fight, fight, Owens, fight. And the second Joe's music hits, they are all on the Joe bandwagon.
Yep, exactly
doing the Joe's going to kill you.
Yeah.
And Joe comes down, gets right in face-to-face with Kevin Owens, and Kevin just walks away. And Joe's even said, off camera, he's there to take that title from Kevin. And I see it happening.
Yeah, I see it happening too. NXT is an amazing show, Andy. I'm glad you told me about it. I'm glad you told me where I can find it, which is on the W Network
for $9.99. We better begin some of this, some free promotions here from WWE.
Just gotta keep happening. It'll work. Is what NXT really differs itself from WWE big time, because I see more color in all the entrances than you ever see in WWE. In WWE, their entrance ramps, you see them come out. In the Titantron, you see, clips of them wrestling. And here, it's clips of their, like name flashing and very colorful lights.
Yeah, well, you notice it's not...
all the wrestlers have that.
It's not a full Jumbotron, that's the thing, too, because
no.
It takes place at Full Sail University, which is down in Florida. So they're like house shows, because it's not... but there's still a lot of fans.
But still, despite how big it is, you only see, to the name flashing and very colorful lights everywhere. Even the music there is different. It's all like almost techno music for all of them.
Yep.
It's real different. I kind of like that. My favorite part is it feels like an independent company. It's completely almost separate from WWE altogether. So they are building a brand, an actual brand here, which is fantastic.
Which actually, this brand is Triple H's baby.
Right.
He's making it. You had Vince develop WWE and Raw. But this is all Triple H.
Yep.
He's down there all the time at Full Sail with all the trainers and everything, figuring out what can we do to make this as big as Raw. And I see it happening someday.
I think if he keeps at it, not rushing it.
And then they're not.
And just, taking the time, built the wrestlers. They're doing a great job with it. Now let's talk about some of the wrestlers that I saw.
Yep.
Some of them are we already know about Kevin Owens.
Yep.
Another big dude. Very agile. Just like Samoa Joe. When those two finally go at it,
Oh, it's going to be
the
great.
match is going to be awesome. I'm telling you right now.
They're probably mirror images of each other.
Oh, yeah.
Same height, same body weight. Big guys, but know how to be agile and quick on their feet. And after what we saw from Owens at Chamber, you know we can go to the top rope and do things just like Joe.
Oh, yeah. Next one I want to talk about is, you brought this name up here once tonight, Sami Zayn.
Yep, my favorite guy in NXT right now.
I didn't really get to see much from him yet.
You have to go back and watch a lot of footage from him before.
But it seems like they're trying to make him the babyface of NXT then.
And it is.
Which is fine.
If you go back and watch when he won his title from Adrian Neville, what a match that was. Back and forth the entire time. And the problem was, you have Sami Zayn, who always kept losing those big matches, and they always said because he doesn't have the ability to go that extra distance and do the thing he needs to do to take the title. Like Adrian Neville, he was a face, but he'd pull out a little dirty move sometimes in like a fatal four-way to keep the title.
Right.
And Sami never could do that. And in that match against Neville, though, Sami did. Sami became a hardcore guy. But problem with it is he keeps getting hurt. They keep throwing him to the back, so we'll see what happens.
with him. Maybe they'll push him to the main roster.
I hope they do. He deserves it.
Who knows? Next one on my list. I saw his match. I was like, wow, this guy is kind of cool. I love his entrance.
I know where you're going.
I love his music. And just the way he presents himself, I'm like, this is wrestling. It's entertainment, and this guy gets that ring, and he can rumble. I'm talking about the #1 contender for the NXT title is Finn Balor.
Finn Balor came over from New Japan Wrestling. He was part of a club over there what AJ Styles was part of. He was a heel.
Right.
He was a heel. It's called the Bullet Club. So I'm surprised they're making him a face, but he's a good face. He's almost more neutral, I think.
Yeah.
But I remember fans cheering for him on his first night in NXT, and I'm like, who is this guy? No promotion about it, kind of. Just he showed up, and fans are yelling, Finn, Finn, Finn. And that's the thing with the fans at Full Sail University and stuff on the house shows, is that they get into following independent guys because you're not constantly going to the big name shows.
Of course.
And I then did my research, and he was amazing in New Japan and over in Europe, and I'm glad they got him now.
Yeah, I mean,
because
I love his entrance. He's just amazing.
And he's right on with like the music and the lights when he does his moves and stuff.
And the entire audience does the arm spread like he does
Exactly.
every time. And that's when you know you have a character to keep.
That's the thing we always talk about too in Raw, when guys do like shooting off their pyro, but they're not on with it.
Who did I complain about the most?
Batista.
It looked terrible every time.
Finn, though, he knows what he's doing. And I love his finisher, even though it's just a double foot stomp but he calls it
That
the
thing
coup
is dangerous.
He calls it the coup de grace. But the way he sets up for it, he does like a running drop kick, and you kind of get thrown back into the turnbuckle and then fall forward. It's upsetting, though, you didn't get to see Hideo Itami in that match.
Right.
Because Hideo and Finn know each other from New Japan Wrestling so well, and they are mirror images of themselves.
I'm going to see.
They wrestle, their moves are exactly alike.
My first Finn Balor match I watched is against another guy I felt was really interesting.
Tyler Breeze.
And I hope he keeps going with it as Tyler Breeze, the supermodel, apparently.
Yep.
With all the selfies, with all the 5 ladies joining him down the ring.
Yeah, that's a new thing. I think he just does it more for like the takeover things.
All right.
Because with Finn, how he did the whole body paint, looking like a demon, kind of. They only do that on the specials.
Okay.
He still comes out to the music and he does all his gimmick kind of things. But yeah, they go out on the takeover specials. But
I thought Tyler Breeze was a pretty interesting character. The guy got talent.
He reminds me of a younger Jeff Hardy kind of, with the spinning heel kicks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the whole selfie pole kind of. And then it being connected to the Jumbotron kind of thing.
I thought it was a cool thing.
I'm not a big fan of the supermodel thing, but he does impress me.
It's interesting. It's just different. You don't see it.
He actually
That's what I like about it.
he had, when you go back and watch more NXT from the past, before Tyson Kidd came back up to the main roster, he was wrestling for a couple years in NXT. And Tyson Kidd had some amazing matches with Adrian Neville and Tyler Breeze.
All right.
But that's the thing. What you're mentioning is that's the type of wrestler we're getting now, is the average size guys that know how to pull off these amazing moves.
I feel like we're going to go back to old school wrestling with you have these characters that can wrestle. Like back in the 90s, you had all these characters that could wrestle. Mm-hmm. And they were amazing and they were entertaining. That's what I want to see. Yeah. I want to quickly touch up on a tag team.
Okay.
I didn't like them. There's something about it I did not like, and they were the champions. Blake and Murphy. Mm-hmm. They sound like a law firm, don't they?
It does.
Blake and Murphy law firm? Come on.
I kind of like their entrance, though, with the whole little psychedelic music and the flashes and stuff like that.
Everyone else's entrance, you know?
My problem with Blake and Murphy is they won the titles on their very first time challenging the Lucha Dragons, and they hadn't been in NXT for more than a couple months.
They're really not all that good.
I don't think they're anything that great.
Yeah.
I'm glad they got Alexa Bliss, because that means I get to see more of Alexa Bliss. But,
right?
But yeah, I was shocked that they won the titles a couple months ago, and I really thought they were going to lose them at Unstoppable to Big Cass and Enzo, who have actually been in NXT for like 3 years now and have never won the titles.
Those guys have the same problem that O'Neal has. They're tall, they're big, and they do not throw that around.
Yep.
I mean, I saw a match with them and Blake and Murphy, and one of the guys came in, he was fresh. 2 minutes later, not even 2 minutes, he was pinned.
Yep.
What is going on here?
See, the thing is, with the whole backstory with Enzo and Big Cass is, a year ago, Enzo got hurt and he was out for a year. So Big Cass wrestled as a solo, and he developed into a great solo wrestler. He's big, and he can throw, and he threw his weight around. The problem is what they do too much is Enzo is that type of person that starts the match, and he's in there for way too long when he should be tagging. And then Big Cass comes in, tries to set up the finisher, where their finisher is he puts Enzo on the top rope and then just launches him on top of the guy. And I want to see more of Big Cass maybe going by him, and I feel like it might happen going by himself.
I'm looking forward to seeing more tag team in NXT because I am a big tag team fan. Mm-hmm. I did not see much.
Problem is a lot of them got promoted.
Yeah.
Ascension got promoted, and they haven't done anything yet.
They're not impressing me.
They were amazing in NXT, and I think it's the fans. Fans loved them in NXT, and now nothing.
Not so much now.
The Lucha Dragons, I feel like they promoted them too quick, but I think they did because Sin Cara is used to being on Raw.
Yeah.
So that's why.
But Sin Cara was crap anyways.
They had the Von Villains for the longest time, and they've vanished. So the thing is, a couple months ago, there were a lot of tag teams. There was Ty Dillinger and his partner, I forget his name. They were together. There was a French tag team that broke up.
Okay.
That's the thing. And that's what I'm hating. Like, I didn't mind the tag team thing, but now when they've had too many solo wrestlers, there's not enough titles to go around.
No titles. And
all you have is the tags, the world, and the Divas title there. So they need to add, I think, something.
They do. I am not a fan of Diva wrestling in any way, shape, or form. But I was a little impressed with NXT Divas.
Yep.
My first match I ever seen with them was Sasha Banks against Becky Lynch. This was a solid, hard-hitting match. What I liked about it was they went for the submission a lot in this match.
Well, that's
what the ladies should be doing.
Sasha's finisher, she has a regular finisher and a submission. Same with Becky. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I like out of either a diva or a superstar. I want to see both. Mm-hmm. My problem is you got to see Sasha on a good day. Sasha is not a great wrestler.
No?
She only pulls out these great... And I'll agree with you. That match was phenomenal.
It's a good match.
It was like a 20-minute match.
It was.
But the problem is Sasha only pulls out phenomenal matches at their specials. Otherwise, they're crappy matches. So, I mean...
The crap matches are crappy opponents.
No, because she's fought... For instance, I like Charlotte. I think she does a great job. Granted, she hasn't lately because I think they've been putting her in squash matches. But she's fought Charlotte, who was a great diva, and nothing.
Well, so far, I'm not impressed at all with Charlotte. She looks like the next China.
Exactly. The problem is she should have been promoted already.
Well, the problem is that even if she does get promoted, you're not going to find an opponent for her that's going to make her look good in that ring.
Natty.
She's too tall and she's too big.
Natalya, when Charlotte first won the title in a tournament against Natalya, great match between Natalya and Charlotte.
Okay, but you can't just keep having these two go together.
No, but I feel like Charlotte has had a match on Raw against Natalya, for instance. I feel like...
I've had that match. It was crap.
Because it was on Raw. That's the problem, is WWE doesn't do anything with their divas.
Yeah.
They'll give you that once in a lifetime kind of match, which has been decent, but then nothing else. That's why I'm hoping with some of these divas we are seeing, we might get back to the divas of 10, 15 years ago.
Here's an improvement, though, on a diva. When I saw her on Raw, I did not like her. I'm seeing her on NXT, I'm liking her. I'm talking about Emma. Turning her from face to heel is working out for her. And she's slowing down, she's hitting the ropes harder, she's becoming a better wrestler because of this.
The thing with her turning heel, too, is she's not doing the bubble thing and the stupid dance and calling all her moves Emma something.
Right.
And they promoted her way too fast. That was one of the things. They were promoting people way too fast. And
her sidekick's good, too, though. She looks solid. Dana Brooks. I haven't seen her wrestle yet, but just looking at her, she's got the nice muscles. She looks like a wrestler.
She has the look because she was a bodybuilder. They got her from the Arnold Classic when they went and put a match on at the Arnold Classic in Ohio. But they signed her at the Arnold Classic, which was like just a month or two ago, and she's already on TV or on the network wrestling. Her first match, she kept pulling off the same move, which wasn't even a real move, and then going and insulting the other opponent, saying, "This is all you got. I'm so much better than you." It just looked horrible. So as long as they keep her on the side, okay.
Let her keep backing up Emma for right now. Let her learn it, you know. I think it's going to be best for both of them.
Yep. I mean, we'll see. I like the Divas more in NXT. I think they do a better job.
I agree.
So,
but that's my review on NXT for you, though.
Like I said, you just got to keep watching.
I'll try my best.
Well, now that Joe's there, I mean, now you got something to watch.
I have Big Joe.
But it is. I watch it every week. I'm sometimes unimpressed, but they show their talent. And William Regal, the GM there, he does a great job. I'm glad they found something.
He looks comfortable.
Well, I'm glad they found something for him.
Yeah.
Because Regal is one of those iconic guys that you need to keep. So,
well, there you have it, guys. That's our episode for this week. Stay tuned for the next couple of weeks. We have a special show planned for the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned with our Facebook page, Legend Nerds Facebook. Also with our YouTube page, which is doing very phenomenal, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And when you close us out?
Well, that's it. I mean, like us on Facebook at Legend of the Nerds, like you said. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. We always want to hear your comments. Drop us your top 5. Maybe we'll discuss it on the next show. So, have a good night, everybody.